Because there's nothing wrong with making an honest living, but be honest, are you honestly living? With this menial job which allows you just to stay afloat, yes, a job, a job, which leaves you just over broke every single month. Living your life just for the weekend, living life just on the weekend, because the other 5 days belong to your manager. You see, there's a big difference between a job and a career. Because in a career, no matter how many hours you work, you do it because it's satisfactory. But in a job, you do it for a salary. Because you're stuck in the rat race. And you know, being stuck in the rat race is one of the biggest of traps, because as a matter of fact, even if you win the rat race, you're still just a rat. See, I understand the need to have a job temporarily, but pursue a career eventually.
I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love, and that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. So keep looking, don't settle.
So 8 years ago, I got the worst career advice of my life. I had a friend tell me, Scott, don't worry about how much you like the work you're doing right now. It's all about just building your resume. Why are you doing the work that you're doing? And so often, their answer would be, well, because somebody told me I'm supposed to. And I realized that so many people around us are climbing their way up this ladder that someone tells them to climb and ends up being leaned up against the wrong wall, or no wall at all. And this isn't about being, Gandhi or Steve Jobs doing something crazy. It's just about doing something that matters to you and makes an impact that only you can make. And the thing is, it's starting to happen on a widespread level. I just read in Forbes, the US government reported for the first time in a month where more people had quit their jobs than had been laid off. And I thought this was an anomaly, but then it's happened 3 months straight. In a time where people claim it's kind of a tough environment, people are pretty much giving a middle finger to this scripted life. The things that people say you're supposed to do in exchange for things that matter to them and do the things that inspire them. And the thing is, people are waking up to this possibility that really the only thing that limits the possibility now is imagination. That's not a cliche anymore. I don't care what it is that you're into, what passion, what hobby. If you're into knitting, you can find someone who is killing it knitting, and you can learn from them. It's wild. But we can't find that unless we know what we're looking for. We have to do our work on ourselves, be intentional about that, and make those discoveries. Because I imagine a world where 80% of people love the work they do. I mean, what would that look like? What would the innovation be like? How would you treat the people around you? Things would start to change.
There wasn't really a job description for what I wanted to do. People don't hire storytellers, much less adventure storytellers. That was my dream. I knew there was magic in life on the road. I loved climbing. I loved being outside. I would load all this stuff up into my car, leave the city, and I'd spend a couple months out on the road, and then I'd come back home and I'd write it all down. I wound up with all these stories I'd gathered from my time on the road, and I couldn't sell them anywhere. I was about to give up when I had this realization that nobody was gonna give me this job. I had to go create it. Once I realized that, it was like the horizon opened up. I started a radio show in my closet. I went on to make films. We found our community. It's 7 years later, and I'm still basically doing the same thing. I'm loading up gear, putting it in the car, and hitting the road to go spend time with the people that inspire me in places that inspire me. That process has come full circle, right back to where my dream started. I know this. You have to do the thing that makes you tick. You have to do it on a daily basis. You have to do it unapologetically. Do it with love.
As we finish up, I have just one question to ask you guys, and I think it's the only question that matters. And it's, what is the work you can't not do? Discover that. Live it. Not just for you, but for everybody around you. Because that is what starts to change the world. What is the work you can't not do? Thank you, guys.